Interesting question. You started to answer it in our pre-production meeting. Is there room for non-whites in conservative circles? So before you like finish your response, I want to hear it, obviously, and I know that our listeners do too. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. So we're going to hear from a guy named Eric Schmitt. He's a United States Senator from Missouri. I'll tell a little bit more of his story in just a sec. In fact, you know what? This is from MSNBC. At the National Conservatism, at the National Conservatism Conference. I don't know what's going on with me today. GOP Senator Eric Schmitt of Missouri shared a shockingly white nationalist vision of American identity and history. Nikole Hannah-Jones, creator of the 1619 Project, tells Ali Velshi that in contrast to years of racist dog whistles from politicians on the right, Schmitt's openness is almost refreshing. His far-right viewpoint, Hannah-Jones says, isn't just about who's being allowed to immigrate into our country now, but what is the very essence of who is an American and therefore who should have the protections of the Constitution and full rights as citizens. Now, that was a direct quote from Nikole Hannah-Jones. This, I think, gives some insight into many conservatives' state of mind, which is how they end up being so comfortable with the way the rest of us are treated or cast aside or disregarded, or there's this, I guess there's a way for people to tell themselves, I'm not racist. I just don't care enough about your problems to not care about mine, right? So you're going to hear this man, because I'm going to play the video and you'll hear the audio. You're going to hear this man. And when you hear him, he's going to sound like a decent guy. And if you're not a black person, if you're not a marginalized person, you might not even hear anything wrong with it without this prefacing. But because he sounds like a decent man, right? Until you listen to what he's saying. And if you don't live a black life, maybe it doesn't occur to you. But when you live a black life and you know how this language is specifically weaponized to prop him and people like him up and to further subjugate me and people like me, then you recognize, oh, this is a very scary mindset for people, for half the country effectively to have. And you start to understand what the Dr. Kings and the Malcolm X's and the people, the great heroes of yesteryear, the Stokeleys and the James Baldwins and so forth and so on, the Angie Davis and, on and on. I can name everyone. But you start to understand that these people in the 50s and the 60s, what they were fighting for, and it was this type of thinking, this type of language. And now that Trump's in office, this guy can just say it out loud. So without further ado, we will just let him say what he says in his own words. Here we go.
The Continental Army soldiers dying of frostbite at Valley Forge. The Pilgrims struggling to survive in the hard winter soil of Plymouth. The pioneers striking out from Missouri for the wild and dangerous frontier. The outnumbered Kentucky settlers repelling wave after wave of Indian war band attacks from beyond the stockade walls. All of them will be astonished to hear that they were only fighting for a proposition. They believed they were fighting for a nation, a homeland for themselves and their descendants. They fought, they bled, they struggled, they died for us. They built this country for us. America, in all its glory, is their gift to us, handed down across the generations. It belongs to us. It's our birthright. It's our heritage, our destiny. If America is everything and everyone, then it is nothing and no one at all. When they tear down our statues and monuments, mock our history, and insult our traditions, they're attacking our future as well as our past. By changing the stories we tell about ourselves, they believe they can build a new America with the new myths, a new people. But America doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us. It's our home. It's a heritage entrusted to us by our ancestors. It's a way of life that is ours and only ours. If we disappear, then America too will cease to exist.
Okay. So, first thing I want to say is that obviously him talking about the settlers fighting the natives feels crazy. You know, it's ours basically because we stole it. So he's admitting that right there. Him talking about our history, our statues, et cetera, people taken out. He's referring to what happened during the BLM protest of 2020. Clearly, we know this. He didn't specifically reference it so that there's plausible deniability or whatever. Maybe he doesn't even care anymore. But that very much means that America belongs to him and his people and not us. And on and on. You heard it yourself. But one thing I want to say is that for anybody listening to that, if after having the context, you still feel like that's a decent man, he didn't say anything wrong, doesn't affect you whatsoever, no big deal, I need you to understand something. Maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not, but I'm hoping it's not. But the truth is, you are the bad guy. It's you. It's you. It's you. You have to do better than that. That's all I got. Q, help me out.
I'm glad that it wasn't a longer clip because I was very close to being sick to my stomach listening to it.
I bet.
I think it's important to point out that he did not admit what you said he admitted. He did not admit that this land was stolen from people that were already here.
Oh yeah, he didn't say it out of his mouth. We know that.
Arrived. Yeah. No, but you just said he admitted it, and I don't want to give him that credit. He did not.
Sure, that's fair.
He framed it as if his ancestors were passing this down to him, and during their building of this country, they were invaded or some enemy
force.
They
were defending it. Yeah,
they were. Very good. Just defending their land.
Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm. Not pointing out that those fights happened while his ancestors were murdering, pillaging, raping, doing the worst to the people who were already here.
Yeah.
To take this land from them and then to gift that foreign land to their children, which they then brought African slaves over to actually build this country they're so proud of. Mm. So I don't want you to give him the credit to having admitted that because he framed it in a very different way.
Yeah, good catch.
Listening to him speak made me sick to my stomach. And had that clip been any longer, I wouldn't have even had anything to say back. I couldn't. Like I was getting visceral angry as I was listening to this man say these things. But then I realized he was saying that to an audience.
Yeah.
An audience that agrees with him. Mm-hmm. And here we are again at this crossroads where people pretend that all these years we've been race baiting. We've been playing the race card. We've been pretending to be victims. And if there's anything, any solace in this moment is another nauseating, I told you so. This has always been there. Mm-hmm. And this administration, this president has emboldened the worst of them to be more loud and more proud with their racism, with their bigotry, with their misogyny, with their xenophobia. And it's discouraging, man. If America's for everybody, then it's for nobody.
That was crazy, right? That was a crazy bar.
It should only be them. Mm-hmm. And again, the they or the them that he's referring to, heterosexual, Christian performing, wealthy white men. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, white women subscribe to it too.
And they can benefit from it, yeah.
Because they benefit from it. Unfortunately, some black men subscribe to it too. Because part of that is the patriarchy that they can also benefit from. At the foot of all of it is black women. And who shows up to save the day every time?
Yeah.
This is a disgusting truth about this country. And it's one that they want to erase and ignore. And at this point, you can't anymore.
Well, I guess you're right about the black people having room in conservative circles, because if they're willing to, I guess, corral the rest of us up or set an example or provide some cover for the racism that exists. I'm not racist. Look at that black guy over there. Then
Subscribe to self-hate and they will make room for you.
for you. Exactly. All right, let's get to
But important to point out, Rams, before we move on,
yeah, what's up?
they wouldn't have it that way. They're not making room for non-white people in those conservative spaces.
It's a necessary sacrifice for them, I suppose.
But that strong, loud self-hate, oh, they'll welcome that in a moment. Yeah. They'll welcome that in a heartbeat. They'll amplify it. They'll put you on stage. Hey, look at my African American over there.
That's crazy.
Just so they can declare themselves non-racist. While declaring themselves the most racist of ideas, being called a racist, they still see as an insult.
Yeah. It just means that they haven't been as masterful with their racism as other people they look up to. So they don't want to be called it. They want it to, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's time for to move on.